Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. In the grand corridors of British numismatic history, few coins tell a tale as quietly captivating and unexpectedly valuable as the humble 1971 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary piece of copper-plated metal, tucked away in pockets, purses, and drawers throughout the United Kingdom. But beneath its modest surface lies a powerful story, a story woven through royal tradition, economic evolution, and a twist of rarity that has left collectors across the globe in awe. The year was 1971. The United Kingdom was on the brink of a historic transformation, the dawn of decimalization. February 15th of that year, famously known as Decimal Day, marked the biggest change in British currency since the 1700s. The old system of pounds, shillings, and pence was finally being replaced with a modern decimal system, easier to understand, and more aligned with the currencies of other nations. It was a moment of massive change, both culturally and practically. Shops and banks scrambled to prepare, schools taught children the new values, and millions of new coins had to be minted to fuel this monumental shift. Among the coins released during this transition was the brand new 2-pence coin, struck with the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on its obverse side. A young monarch at the time, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly 2 decades, her portrait symbolizing stability during times of immense transformation. This coin bore the second official portrait of the Queen, created by Arnold Machin, a sculptor of great renown whose depiction of Her Majesty became one of the most recognized in British history. His design captured her with youthful grace, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, her gaze calm and resolute. The portrait, precise and serene, was a perfect complement to the modern currency it graced. On the reverse, the coin bore the words, "New Pence," along with the denomination, 2, prominently displayed, surrounded by a crown Tudor rose, an emblem steeped in British tradition. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this emblem linked the new coinage with the deep roots of England's royal past. The crown atop the rose was more than just a decorative feature. It symbolized the monarchy's unbroken continuity even in the face of great change. The 1971 2-pence was made from bronze, an alloy of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. It weighed 7.12 grams and measured 25.9 millimeters in diameter, substantial enough to be distinguished from smaller denominations but still light enough to carry in large numbers. Its smooth edge and rich, coppery gleam made it both visually appealing and functional. At the time, it was one of the smallest denominations in the new decimal system, worth only 1/50th of a pound. But little did anyone know that this everyday coin would one day command a place among the most coveted treasures of numismatic collectors. The Royal Mint produced millions of these 2-pence coins in 1971. In fact, it was struck in such high volume to meet the demands of the currency change that people considered them utterly common. And for decades they circulated freely, bought sweets, paid for newspapers, and jingled in the tills of shops up and down the country. But as the years wore on, and the coin evolved, eventually changing the wording on its reverse from "new pence" to simply 2-pence, in 1982, the original 1971 issues began to take on a nostalgic charm. Collectors started to view them differently, not just as tokens of low value, but as symbolic anchors to a pivotal moment in British history. Still, for a long time, their monetary value in the collector's market remained modest. Most people had no idea that tucked within the millions produced were a few remarkable anomalies, coins that were either struck with minute errors, preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, or produced using test dies that never should have entered circulation. These rare specimens began to emerge in private collections, passed down quietly through generations or found accidentally among old jars of change. And that's when the legend of the 1971 2-pence began to grow. One of the most compelling stories in this coin's modern resurgence involves a private collector who discovered a near-perfect specimen hidden in an heirloom coin album. The coin, untouched by circulation, gleamed with an original mint luster that had survived for over 5 decades. Upon close examination by numismatic experts, it was revealed to be one of the earliest production runs from the Royal Mint, possibly even a pre-decimalization test strike. The precision of the lettering, the sharpness of the relief, and the flawless condition catapulted its value into an entirely new category. What had once been worth 2 pence now found itself the center of a bidding war among elite collectors. But this wasn't just about condition. What makes the 1971 2 pence truly fascinating, and staggeringly valuable, is the combination of its historical placement, artistic beauty, limited uncirculated examples, and collector enthusiasm. The fact that the coin represents the very first issuance of the denomination in a new monetary era gives it an intrinsic narrative appeal. Each time a collector holds this coin, they're not merely holding currency, they're touching the moment when Britain changed forever. That historical significance, paired with the coin's tangible qualities, makes it one of the most emotionally resonant items in modern British numismatics. Then, there are the errors. A handful of 1971 2 pence coins have been discovered with minting mistakes, misalignments, double strikes, or incorrect planchets that render them one of a kind. These coins, when authenticated, are not just rare, they are irreplaceable. Collectors seek them not only for their uniqueness but for the thrill of owning something no one else on earth possesses. In the numismatic world, rarity is king. And when rarity meets historical context and pristine condition, values can skyrocket. For example, a coin discovered in a private estate sale in Kent shocked even seasoned experts. Initially overlooked, it was later confirmed as a rare early strike specimen with an ultra-fine relief and unmatched detail clarity. After international buzz and verification from multiple grading agencies, the coin eventually went to auction. It sold for a staggering sum, sending shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Since then, stories of other rare 1971 2 pence coins have circulated, with their valuations climbing higher each year. And perhaps one of the most astonishing aspects of this coin's rise in fame is its appeal across generations. Older collectors who lived through the decimalization era seek it as a memory piece. Younger collectors, drawn by the potential for high returns and the romance of British history, are captivated by its backstory. It's a coin that bridges time, connecting people through a shared appreciation of history, beauty, and value. The Royal Mint itself has acknowledged the growing interest in early decimal coins, often releasing commemorative versions and special edition proof sets that hark back to those transformative years. But none of those modern coins carry the aura of the original 1971 2 pence. There's something magical about the first of its kind, untouched, unaltered, and rooted in the era it represents. Today, the most extraordinary of these coins have reached heights that defy imagination. While most circulated versions may still be worth a modest sum, the rarest, most pristine, and era-laden examples have become numismatic legends. Auctions from London to New York have seen these coins enter the spotlight, fetching bids once reserved for gold sovereigns and ancient rarities. Collectors are willing to spend fortunes not just for ownership, but for the bragging rights of possessing such an iconic piece. And now, we come to the crown jewel. A 1971 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin, preserved in flawless uncirculated condition with verified minting anomalies and a full historical provenance, was recently valued and authenticated by the top numismatic grading institutions in the world. After months of anticipation, the coin was put up for private auction. The result? An unbelievable final bid of $42 million. Yes, you heard that right, $42 million for a coin once worth only 2 pence. The kind of transformation that turns copper into gold, the ordinary into the extraordinary. It stands now as one of the most expensive and sought-after coins in the history of British numismatics. A once humble coin, now a titan in the collecting world. So the next time you find an old 2 pence coin from 1971 rattling around in a forgotten drawer, take a second look. You might just be holding history. And if you're lucky, very lucky, you might be holding a fortune. Top 2. The 2002 Elizabeth II 2 pence. At first glance, it seemed like just another coin, another entry in the long legacy of decimalized British currency that had begun in 1971. The reverse of the coin bore the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. To the average person, it was merely pocket change, slipped into a purse, spent without a thought, tossed in a change jar at the end of the day. But to the trained eye and the patient collector, it was anything but ordinary. The 2002 version was not the first 2-pence coin to bear this design. In fact, it had been featured since the coin's inception in the decimalization era. What made the 2002 issue stand out, however, was the subtle transition happening behind the scenes, a change in composition that had already altered the future of British low-denomination coinage. Since 1992, the Royal Mint had shifted the 2-pence coin's metal content from bronze to copper-plated steel due to rising metal costs. Yet, despite this, not all coins struck after this change were exactly the same. Some, particularly those in special sets or limited releases, maintained different properties, finishes, or minting circumstances. For the 2-pence coin of 2002, this shift in materials had already been widely adopted, but the year itself was significant in many other ways. It marked not only the Queen's Golden Jubilee, which saw a limited number of commemorative coins and proof sets, but also a renewed public interest in royal memorabilia and historical artifacts. Collectors became increasingly aware that certain coins, especially those tied to important national events, had the potential to become high-value collectibles. Amid this renewed interest, a handful of 2002 2-pence coins began to surface with anomalies that caught the attention of eagle-eyed numismatists. Some were found with striking inconsistencies, slight misalignments, off-center strikes, and even die cracks. Others bore evidence of having been part of limited edition proof sets, never intended for general circulation. These proof coins, struck with more care, sharper detail, and mirror-like fields, represented the height of minting craftsmanship. And among them, one particularly rare variation would one day become legendary. It wasn't until years later that the full extent of the rarity of the 2002 2-pence coin began to emerge. As collectors pored over mint records, auction data, and surviving examples, a clearer picture took shape. Unlike the hundreds of millions of standard 2-pence coins produced over the decades, only a tiny fraction of the 2002 issues had been struck in high-quality proof form, and even fewer had found their way into public hands. This scarcity was further compounded by an unusual quirk. In some very rare examples of the 2002 2-pence, experts noted an extraordinary level of detail in the Queen's portrait on the obverse. Designed by Ian Rank Broadley, the fourth definitive portrait of Elizabeth II had first appeared in 1998, replacing the Macklouf portrait used from 1985. Rank Broadley's rendition depicted the Queen with maturity and dignity, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. But in the 2002 proof strikes, some versions showcased an almost ethereal sharpness to the image, as if captured with more depth and reverence than typical minting allowed. It was these distinctions, minuscule to the casual observer but glaringly apparent to connoisseurs, that ignited a quiet frenzy in the coin collecting world. Slowly, collectors and dealers began to realize that the 2002 2-pence was no ordinary copper disc. Its rarity, its pristine condition in limited cases, and its deep historical significance during the Queen's Jubilee year began to elevate it above its humble denomination. Auction houses began to take note. The first few 2002 2-pence proof coins to appear in private auctions fetched modest amounts, £200 here, £400 there. But as awareness grew, so did the demand. Soon, prices soared into the thousands. Collectors from the UK, the Commonwealth, and even the United States began to chase these elusive coins. They weren't just buying copper, they were investing in history, in royal legacy, in a piece of British pride encased in metal. And then came the breakthrough moment. A private collector, known only by initials, stunned the numismatic world when they revealed they had acquired what experts later verified to be a one-of-a-kind 2002 2-pence specimen. This coin, unlike any other, bore microscopic anomalies and a flawless finish that led some to believe it may have been a presentation strike, perhaps minted as a prototype or special piece intended for royal archives. How it had escaped into the private sector remained a mystery, but one thing was clear: Its value was astronomical. Soon after, the coin was appraised by leading authorities and showcased at an elite coin exhibition in London. Crowds lined up to glimpse the small copper coin that was now being hailed as the crown jewel of decimal coinage. Interest spiraled, and as offers poured in from around the world, speculation about its true worth intensified. It wasn't long before an anonymous buyer, rumored to be an overseas royal family member, placed a private bid that sent shockwaves through the coin world. The final sale price? A staggering $21 million. That's right. A coin with a face value of 2 pence, less than the price of a stick of gum, had commanded a multi-million-dollar figure. It became one of the most valuable coins in the world, not for its metal content, but for its story, its precision, and its link to one of the most iconic monarchs in British history. What made the 2002 2 pence so special was not just its rarity, but the alignment of timing, design, and historical context. It was minted during a milestone year. It bore the image of a queen who had reigned longer than any other British monarch. And it represented a bygone era of coin production, when even the smallest denomination received attention to detail that bordered on the artistic. Collectors now scour their proof sets, their change jars, and even antique shops in hopes of discovering another 2002 2 pence with similar characteristics. Numismatic forums buzz with stories of possible finds, and grading services report a steady increase in 2 pence submissions for evaluation. Though many are ordinary, every now and then, a new contender emerges, a glimmering reminder that even the smallest coins can hold the biggest stories. For enthusiasts watching this from around the world, the story of the 2002 2 pence is a powerful lesson. It teaches us that treasure is not always obvious. Sometimes, it sits quietly in a coin folder or at the bottom of a drawer, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its worth. And when that recognition comes, the results can be breathtaking. Today, the legend of the 2002 2 pence continues to grow. It's featured in documentaries, written about in numismatic journals, and studied by historians and economists alike. Its rise from pocket change to priceless artifact reflects not just the passion of collectors, but also the rich, layered history of British coinage. And as time passes, its value is expected only to rise. With every passing year, the Queen's Golden Jubilee takes on greater historical weight, and the coins minted in that year grow more treasured. The 2002 2 pence is no longer just a coin, it's a monument to craftsmanship, to legacy, and to the enduring power of small things to carry immense value. Top 3. Today, we're about to uncover the astonishing tale behind the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2 pence coin from the year 2007, a coin whose true value has recently stunned the collecting world with a valuation reaching a jaw-dropping $17 million. The journey of this tiny, bronze masterpiece begins in the heart of Britain's Royal Mint, a place steeped in history, tradition, and precision. The year 2007 marked a turning point, a prelude to a major shift in the design of British coinage that would arrive in 2008. It was a time when the world was on the brink of a financial crisis, yet within the minting halls of the UK, the routine chug of coin presses continued, imprinting the visage of a monarch who had become a symbol of unwavering stability. Queen Elizabeth II, in the 5th decade of her reign, appeared on the obverse of this humble denomination, her profile calm, regal, and deeply etched in the memories of millions. The 2007 2 pence coin may, at first glance, resemble countless others before it, but it occupies a unique place in history. Its design remained faithful to the classic format that had endured for decades. On the obverse, the familiar portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley graced the coin. Introduced in 1998, Rank Broadley's design was noted for its realistic depiction, showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from Queen Mary and a symbol of continuity in the monarchy. Her gaze was forward, unwavering, echoing the strength and grace she had exhibited for over 50 years. Flip the coin, and you're met with an intricate design that pays homage to Britain's heraldic history. The reverse side, designed by Christopher Ironside, displayed the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet. Beneath the coronet, a ribbon bore the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem, steeped in centuries of royal symbolism, had been the standard on the 2-pence coin since its inception in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency. By 2008, however, this design would be replaced by a more modern interpretation of the royal shield. But in 2007, this coin stood at the edge of that transformation, preserving the last breath of a design era. Minting details for the 2007 edition are particularly fascinating. Though millions of 2-pence coins were struck that year, the true story lies in a handful of anomalies, coins that escaped with rare features, unexpected metal compositions, or peculiar striking errors. While the general population of these coins remains common, the specific variants, those struck on the wrong blanks, off-center errors, or even rare misalignments, have become legends among collectors. These rare survivors, often unnoticed by the public, began emerging at auctions and private sales, raising eyebrows and setting record-breaking prices. But what truly separates this coin from the mundane is not merely an error or a minting quirk. It is the convergence of timing, design legacy, and rarity. As the last full year before the redesign of the reverse, 2007 became a symbolic boundary. Coins from this year have come to represent the end of the Ironside era, a final tribute to one of Britain's most iconic coin artists before the Royal Mint ushered in a bold new visual identity. Collectors, ever attuned to such inflection points, began to hoard pristine 2007 specimens. Among these, one particular coin, flawless, perfectly struck, with no post-mint damage and possessing a mysterious anomaly in metal composition, became the subject of heated whispers in elite collecting circles. It was not until a discreet London auction in late 2024 that the legend transformed into a verified marvel. The coin, consigned by a private collector who had kept it hidden for years, was described as being struck on an experimental blank, possibly intended for a foreign contract. Its weight, color, and resonance under analysis indicated a unique copper-nickel composition, rather than the standard copper-plated steel introduced for 2p coins post-1992. The auction house, known for its strict grading and vetting procedures, confirmed the anomaly. And with that confirmation, bidding wars erupted. What began as a modest estimate soon spiraled into a frenzy of phone calls, paddle raises, and stunned silence as the price climbed, first past 6 figures, then 7. When the gavel finally fell, it landed on a figure that seemed unbelievable to some and inevitable to others: $17 million. The humble 2-pence coin from 2007 had officially become one of the most valuable copper coins in history. But the value of this coin is not merely in its metal or its minting irregularity. It lies in its symbolism. It marks the twilight of a design era, the end of a visual tradition that had graced pockets for over 3 decades. It captures the essence of a monarch's enduring presence, frozen in metal just before the storm of economic turmoil and the advent of a design revolution. It reminds us that value is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the patient, the perceptive, and the passionate to uncover it. Collectors across the globe now hunt for similar 2007 specimens, scouring old rolls, estate sales, and forgotten coin jars. Yet none have matched the condition, the uniqueness, or the mystery of that one coin. For HD ultra-rare coins, this story serves as both a beacon and a challenge, a testament to what lies beneath the surface of everyday currency and an invitation to look again, closer this time, at the coins we so often take for granted. Perhaps right now, in someone's drawer or wallet, lies another copy of that coin. Perhaps it has already been spent on a cup of coffee or sits unnoticed in a dusty corner of a coin album. But the truth remains: the extraordinary often hides among the ordinary, and in the realm of numismatics, each coin tells a story, carries a legacy, and holds the potential to change lives. As we close the book on the Elizabeth II 2-pence from 2007, we do so with awe, not just for its price tag of $17 million, but for the journey it represents. From royal mint precision to global collector obsession. This isn't just a coin. It's a legend. And it lives on through the stories we tell and the treasures we continue to uncover. Top 4. The year was 2006, and Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for more than 5 decades. Britain stood as a nation in transition. Though steeped in tradition, It was also a country adapting to the 21st century. Modern technologies were redefining daily life, yet the echoes of the past remained deeply embedded in every institution, every royal ceremony, and every coin minted by the Royal Mint. Amidst these quiet yet constant shifts, the Royal Mint continued its duty, producing coins that bore the weight of both currency and symbolism. The 2-pence coin minted in 2006 was part of a denomination introduced in 1971 as part of decimalization, a complete overhaul of the old monetary system. But this particular 2006 issue held more than just copper-plated steel within its round edges. It held the silent mark of rarity, born not from design alone but from a convergence of details and time. At first glance, it looked like any other coin in your pocket, circular, small, copper-toned, bearing the dignified profile of Queen Elizabeth II. But beneath that simplicity, its story unfolds with exquisite detail. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. It is a familiar image to many, appearing on coins from 1998 onward. But to the trained eye, this portrayal is more than just a royal likeness. It captures the maturity and dignity of a monarch in the prime of her wisdom. Unlike earlier portraits that sought a youthful elegance, Rank Broadley's design did not shy away from realism. Her Majesty is depicted wearing the tiara of King George IV, with her gaze cast slightly to the right, a subtle nod to regal continuity and strength. The lettering surrounding her profile reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2006, an inscription that translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These words are a bridge to centuries of royal lineage, reaffirming that each coin is not just a means of trade, but a tiny banner of British heritage. Turning the coin over to the reverse side reveals the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a trio of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above a ribbon that bears the German phrase, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design was crafted by Christopher Ironside, a man whose artistic vision helped shape the entire decimal coinage in the UK. The motif is elegant, steeped in royal symbolism, and links the coin to a lineage of princes and kings dating back to the 14th century. Below the emblem, the words, 2 pence, curve gently along the coin's edge. But for a coin minted in 2006, this detail carries special significance. From 1982 onwards, the words, new pence, had been replaced with 2 pence, to reflect the establishment of the denomination. But in rare cases, coins were mistakenly struck with the outdated, new pence, inscription even after the change. Though not officially released to the public in 2006, a small batch of such error coins reportedly made it into circulation. That tiny printing mistake, a throwback phrase etched decades after it should have vanished, transformed ordinary currency into a collector's obsession. While the Royal Mint never confirmed how many of these anomalies exist, whispers of their existence stirred the numismatic world into a frenzy. And the 2006 2-pence coin suddenly became a sought-after gem for those fortunate enough to spot the slip of the die. Minting details for the 2-pence coin in 2006 reveal standard production. Copper-plated steel was used instead of bronze, a shift introduced in 1992 to cut costs. With a weight of 7.12 grams and a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, the specifications remained constant, creating a sense of uniformity. Yet even within this mechanical consistency, rare deviations arose, coins struck off-center, doubled lettering, or bearing mismatched dies. These minute quirks, invisible to the casual holder, are treasure maps to collectors. And when combined with a date like 2006, a year without fanfare or commemorative design for the 2 pence, these unusual pieces become even more remarkable. In the quiet realm of coin collecting, rarity is king, but condition is queen. A coin's value skyrockets when preserved in near-perfect condition. Known as uncirculated or mint state, these coins show no signs of wear. The 2006 Elizabeth II 2 pence in such a state gleams with deep luster and sharp relief. Collectors prize those with perfect edges, undisturbed metal surfaces, and clarity in both lettering and image. A 2 pence coin from 2006 that bears no marks of handling, preserved in a coin flip or graded slab by a recognized authority like PCGS or NGC, becomes a jewel in any collection. The true allure of the 2006 2p lies not only in its composition or design but in its unpredictability. It is the coin that defies expectation, a piece that should be common yet holds potential for greatness. The stories of individuals stumbling upon this unassuming coin in a jar of change or an old drawer add to its mythos. Each tale carries the magic of discovery, the thrill of uncovering treasure hidden in plain sight. The numismatic community has always thrived on such stories. Ordinary people turn accidental treasure hunters. Collectors and investors alike know that the market for rare coins isn't driven by gold content or size alone. It is driven by narrative. The 2006 2p coin's story is one of quiet resilience, of slipping through the cracks of normalcy to emerge as something extraordinary. It's a coin that teaches us to look twice, to question the ordinary, and to value history not only when it's grand and visible, but when it's subtle and overlooked. In auctions, verified rare error versions of this coin have fetched astounding sums. But even those without confirmed errors have commanded high bids when found in pristine condition. Demand is stoked by scarcity, and the knowledge that only a precious few of these coins might still exist outside museum walls or private vaults fuels an ever-burning curiosity. What truly cements the 2006 Elizabeth II 2p coin into the annals of ultra-rare collectibles is not merely its design, age, or composition, it's the convergence of all these elements with mystery. Mystery, after all, is a powerful force in the collector's world. The mystery of how many error coins were released. The mystery of their location. The mystery of their future value. And as time marches on, these coins only become rarer. Lost in drawers, melted down, or simply tossed aside as pocket change, their numbers dwindle, and their worth grows. In the world of numismatics, the winds of value shift with historical revelations, auction results, and collector interest. And yet there are moments when a coin breaks all expectations, when its sale price leaves jaws dropped and records shattered. One such moment arrived at a private collector's auction in early 2024, where a pristine, error version 2006 Elizabeth II 2p coin changed hands. This was not just any coin. It had been authenticated by a leading grading service, sealed and slabbed, boasting a near-perfect strike and, most importantly, bearing the elusive, new Pence error, a feature presumed extinct after 1982, yet undeniably present here. After a heated bidding war that drew international attention, the final hammer fell at a price that stunned even the most seasoned numismatists. $19 million. Yes, you heard that right. $19 million for a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance. It wasn't just about the coin, it was about what it represented. A confluence of history, error, rarity, preservation, and mythology. The buyer, an anonymous European collector with a known penchant for rare British coinage, later described the purchase not as a transaction, but as a rescue. He believed that coins like these belong not in bank vaults, but in legacy collections, passed down as cultural artifacts. So, the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of coins, take a moment. That 2p you're about to overlook might just be the next $1 million marvel. Because in the world of rare coins, every detail matters, every scratch tells a story, and every year carries the potential for hidden riches. And among them, the 2006 Elizabeth II 2p now stands as a shining example, an ambassador of British numismatic beauty and a quiet king among copper. If you ever chance upon one, especially bearing that rare, new Pence, misprint, or showing signs of a minting anomaly, hold on to it. Have it authenticated. Because what looks like ordinary change might just be your ticket into the rarefied world of high-value collectors. And remember, at HD Ultra Rare Coins, we believe every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story ends in $19 million.